What would you do if you had a beach ball-sized German yellow jacket nest hanging in your attic? Well, this client did, and they were finding yellow jackets throughout their house, so they decided to investigate to see where this nest was, and they went up into the attic, and it was right in front of their face. This absolutely massive German yellow jacket, Vespula germanica anthic colony, that built this nest of over 15,000 yellow jackets in it. So they called me and said, Hornet King, I have this beach ball-sized nest in my attic. Can you please come and get it and remove it for us? So I showed up with my trusty vacuum and a brand new suit to remove this colony for them. So I start by poking the vacuum nozzle through the envelope layers, exposing the comb layers. And you'll notice that thousands of yellow jackets are pouring out of this nest. Now, I get this comment all the time, so I'll just answer it here. Why don't I just take a bag and just bag the entire nest and pull it off the ceiling, and that's that? Well, that's because there's thousands of yellow jackets out foraging. So even if I were to just go up and just bag this nest, I still have to wait and remove the thousands of yellow jackets that are coming back from foraging and remove them too. So what I do is actually take advantage of that time, and I vacuum up all the individuals out of this nest, because when I take these nests home to feed them to my animals, I have to vacuum them out anyway. So I expose all the comb layers, vacuum up as many of the yellow jackets as I can, and while I'm doing that, hundreds of yellow jackets are coming back from foraging, and I'm vacuuming them up at the same time. So it's kind of a double whammy. Thousands of yellow jackets coming out, kind of all at the same time. They fly out of the nest, they fly to my light, and then they fly right back to the nest. So I'm either getting them at the light, or I'm getting them at the nest, or I'm getting them as they're coming in through the shake shingle. This was an old 1700s house, so there were a lot of nooks and crannies in that shake shingle that they were actually accessing into this space. So folks will ask me if I've sealed up the spaces of how they're getting in. In a lot of cases I can. If they're coming in one entranceway, I can tell folks, hey, this is where they're coming in from, you seal this up. Or if I'm in there and I see it and I can seal it up, I seal it up myself. But in this case, it's a 1700s house. There's a lot of nooks and crannies through that shake shingle, how they're getting in. So unfortunately, it's up to the client how they want to remediate and seal up those shake shingles. And again, just pulling this envelope down by the fistful. Yes, there's a lot of yellow jackets still in between those layers of envelope, but once they're inside the bag, they're pretty much just going to hunker down in there until I get them home, open up the bag, and vacuum everybody up. But it just goes to show you how much mass was on this nest of paper, just because I was able to pull it all down by the handfuls. And there were a lot of queens in this colony, so at this point in the season, the original queen, she had laid a bunch of eggs that became new queens or reproductives. And if once they're mated, they would be fertilized to go off and start their own colony next spring, and they would become new queens. At this juncture, at this stage, they're not queens yet. Just for simplicity, we call them queens. And you'll notice here on my wrist, there's a lady that was stinging me over and over again. I didn't know she was there, but eventually she stings me, and you see it. And look at the amount of comb here. This nest was absolutely massive. A lot of larvae and pupae that were fed to my animals. My chickens, my emus, my rhea, and sometimes my squirrels. So pulling this thing down was about 10 pounds of nest. Massive. So tuck in the bag with all the rest of it and vacuuming up all these queens. Look at all those queens in there. You can always tell the queens because they're trying to run away. They're not trying to attack. Bag up the last bit of envelope, and there I was stung on my wrist. No suit is sting-proof. Common misconception. Yep, yeah, Hornet King, it hurts. It stung a little bit. So I go around the rest of the attic and vacuum up all the individuals, and it's a job well done.
Alright, so I got the nest home. It's been in the refrigerator for a couple days. And some of these ladies are still active, which I can't believe. Now they're still active in here. You have to be in the refrigerator for a couple days. I can hear them buzzing. big old mats. Try to separate them because when they start moving around, it'll squish them. If I have to. Rhea loves them. Is that good, birdies? Oh, wee. Enjoy your nest, birdies. I gotta fill up the water pit.